everyone. My name is Aishwarya. I am studying in first year BE Electrical and Communication Engineering at Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering. Today I am discussing about types and functions of beams. A beam is a horizontal structural member used to support the loads. Beams are used to support the roof and floors in the buildings. Beams is a horizontal structural member used to carry the vertical load, stress load, and sometimes the horizontal load. It is the major component of building structures. It mainly used to construct of bridges, trusses, and other structures which carry the vertical load. Types of beams based on geometry: straight beam, curved beam, tapered beam. Straight beam. Beams are the horizontal member used to support the vertical applied load across an opening. Usually, the term beam is applied to the members with the top continuously connected to bottom throughout their length, and those with the top and bottom connected at the intervals are called the trusses. Curved beam. Beam whose axis is not straight and it's curved in the elevation is said to the curved beam. If the applied load are along the y direction and the span of the beam is along the x direction, the axis of the beam should have a curvature is the xy plane. Takes the advantages of curvature for the mechanical resistance and fitness. Example: hooks and chain link. Tapered beam. A tapered beam is the one that is represented by the section size on one end and a different section size on the other end. Tapered beam are the extensively used for structural application due to their high fitness to mass ratio. Based on material: tempered beam, reinforced concrete beam, steel beam. First one is tempered beam. A wooden beam is the beam made from the wood. A tempered beam is the exact same thing. Tempered beam and tempered posts are the generally used in the buildings of outdoor structures such as the carports and the pergolas, as well as in the roof construction and even its decorative applications. Reinforced concrete beam. Concrete beams are the reinforced with steel rods, means reinforcing bars in order to resist the internal tension forces within across the section. Concrete beams, also known as summers or girders, which take up the loads of the floors or wall and relay it to other structural components. Steel beam. Steel beams are the part of the skeleton that makes the structure strong. They are used in the construction to support the structures like residential or commercial buildings, skyscrapers, stadiums, bridges, and cargo ships. Based on cross section: rectangular beam, T beam, and I beam. Rectangular beam. A flexible rectangular beam block models are a cylinder beams with a rectangular cross section that can be solid or hollow. The rectangular beam can have a small and linear deformation. These deformations include the extension, bending, and torsion. T-beam. A T-beam typically has the narrow stem that are ordinary rectangular beam. These stems are typically spaced from the 4 apart from then 12. Thus, slab portion above the stem is designed as the one-way slab spanning between the stem. T-beams are used for the most diverse application for the variety of ceiling system and also in skeleton construction has the beam between the two individual columns. I-beam. I-beam is a shape of structural steel used in buildings and it is also known as HW wide universal beam or rolled just. They are designed to play a key role as a supported member in structures. These beams have a capacity to withstand various type of loads based on a type of support. Simply supported beam, fixed beam, continuous beam, cantilever beam. Simply supported beam. A simply supported beam is the one that rests on two support and is free to move the horizontally. Typical practical application of simply supported beam with point loading include the bridge beams in buildings and beds of machine tools. Fixed beam. A fixed beam is supported between two fixed ends. It is also called as a fixed end beam or built-in beam or the restrained beam. It is classified as a statistically indeterminate beams which involves more than three unknowns and the equilibrium equations of statistics alone are not sufficient to determine the support reaction. Example, a walking bridge between the two buildings. Continuous beam. Continuous beam. It is the beam having more two supports. The intermediate supports are the always subjected to bending moment, which is the negative. If end supports are the simply supported, the bending moment at the end supports will be zero. Continuous steel beams consist of two or more beams that are welded together and supported by the other beams to create a stable yet flexible component for the large scale structures. Cantilever beams. A cantilever beams is the rigid structural element that is the supported at the one end and free at the other. The cantilever beam can be made from the either concrete or steel, whose one end is cast or the anchored to the vertical support. A good example, the cantilever beams is the balcony. Functions of beam. Provide a safe and efficient load path that effectively distribute the weight throughout the foundation of a building. A beam's function is to support walls and prevent overloading a concrete slab. Beams primarily carry the vertical gravitational force. They are also used to carry the horizontal loads. Loads due to the earthquake or wind or the tension to the resist the raft thrust as the T beams or compression as the collar beams. Thank you for watching.